What's up everyone, I'm the Kaiju no Kami, and this is my review of Gingaman.
Ginga! Bento! Ginga! Blue! Ginga! Black! Ginga! Pink! Yellow! Ginga Sentai Gingaman! そっちこそ森にいた頃からうるさすぎるんだよ。
What do you mean that's not Gingaman? Those are the real Gingaman. Can't you see? They call themselves Gingaman.
Ginga Sentai Gingaman!
See? Gingaman.
なんだよ! 세주 센타이 gingaman! gingaman! それは勇気ある者のみに許された名誉ある銀河戦士の称号である。
I don't know what you're talking about. These Gingaman are real decent people. These guys look like they're just from shithole forests.
みんな騙されていたんだ。
No, that's fake news. They're definitely not the real Gingaman.
年上だからって威張るなよな、この説教親父。
Thank you to the millions of people who love me. Have a nice day. Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us.
Seijuu Sentai Gingaman!
Somebody forgot to take their medication this morning. Ugh. Well, whatever. Welcome everyone, I am the Kaiju no Kami, the real Kaiju no Kami, and today I'm going to be reviewing Shout Factory's latest DVD release of Seijuu Sentai Gingaman. Originally slated to be titled Seijuu Sentai Galaranger, Toei decided it did not want to compete with an anime series that was out around the same time and changed its name to Gingaman. Additionally, they gave the show to one of their more recent scriptwriters, a woman named Yosuko Kobayashi, who began her career in the 90s. Not only was Kobayashi the first female to be the main writer of a Sentai show, but she would also become a favorite of Toei as she would eventually go on to be the main writer for Time Ranger, Shikinger, Go Busters, Tokuger, Kamen Rider Ryuki, Kamen Rider Den-O, Kamen Rider O's, and Zero Black Blood. As if her plate wasn't full enough, she is also the person who helmed the anime adaptations to Death Note, Attack on Titan, Shakugan no Shana, Claymore, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. As you can see, Kobayashi has become a staple of the franchise. However, how was her first attempt at a Sentai show? Well, let's take a look to find out. The Heroes. Gingaman features a group of forest people who have to use special swords in order to battle evil beings who have just woken up. Wait a minute. This plot sounds awfully familiar.
Hey, listen!
Don't let that turn you off though, as our core ranger cast is nothing like the silent green tunic wearing protagonists of the Zelda franchise. Even though one of them does wear a green tunic and plays the flute. These descendants to heroes of the past are Ryoma, Hayate, Goki, Hikaru, and Saya. They are all played by Kazuki Mihara, Koji Tsuyoshi, Shoei, Nobuaka Takahashi, and Juri Miyazawa. What's interesting about Ryoma is that he was not originally supposed to be Ginga Red. His older brother Hyuga, played by Ninja Red's Teruaki Ogawa, was slated to take the reins of the Red Ranger. Unfortunately, he is seemingly killed by the villains in the first episode, forcing Ryoma to take his brother's place as the team's leader.
Ryoma, これを受け取るんだ!
This becomes a major plot point throughout the show as it encourages Ryoma to do his best to not only protect the Earth, but also fill in for his brother. Thus, Ryoma is always striving to be the best hero possible, never giving up the fight regardless of how dire the situation may be. Hayate has just as much of a tragic backstory. Due to the return of the space pirates known as Balban, the group's home is turned to stone and sinks into the sea. Later on, on we learn that Hayate's fiance was one of those people lost to Balban's invasion. Hayate is my favorite ranger as he is also trying to cope with his loss by always seeing the greener side of the grass. Get it? Greener? He is the cool-headed member of the team, analyzing a situation before jumping head-on into it, wanting to never go in half-assed. Adding to this is that he also ends up having a rivalry with one of the members of Balban, which I will get more into later on. Oh, and how can I not mention that Hayate is like me, as he is a very picky eater.
好き嫌いはない方がいい。体も丈夫になるし、何でも食べられるって嬉しいことだ。
Shut up! I like being picky, thank you very much. Not only does he hate honey, okay, that I cannot agree with, even if it is just technically bee poop. And tomatoes. Raito would be so upset with you. But he also has to make some really hilarious faces to signify such.
食べてくれ。
Speaking of food, anyone suddenly in the mood for lobster? On second thoughts, maybe I don't want... You know what? Nah, screw it. Give me the lobster. I want lobster. Goki is the brash cook of the team. Oh cool, make me my lobster. He is also the most emotional when it comes to losing his home, not wanting to accept the reality of the situation initially.
みんなが森尾で戦おうとしてるのに、俺だけ森を吹っ切らないなんて。あの花は森の命で光るんだ。その光を一瞬でも見られたら、生きてる森を感じられたら。
As time progresses, he finds alternatives to keeping himself happy, which includes falling in love with a teacher named Mizawa Suzuko. This will often lead him into hilarious situations as he ends up being the goofball of the group. A very, very tall goofball. I should also mention that he ends up having his own rival for Suzuko's affections with another teacher who is portrayed by none other than Red Racer's Yuji Kishi. The hot-headed member of Gingaman is of course Hikaru. He will more often than not jump into battle with assessing the situation, endangering himself or his cohorts. Additionally, he will often use his special powers, which are simply deemed Earth, for profit or for his own self-gain, and he hates being treated like the child he acts.
いいか、アースというのは個人の力じゃない。
星から借り受けた力である。だろ。もう聞き飽きた。
だったらそういう使い方できないはずだろ。
It is revealed that he lost his mother early on in his life, so he was never really nurtured as the rest of the team had been, which is the origin behind his childish nature. Unlike the rest of the group, he doesn't really have any story arcs to call his own, although he does have a nice rivalry with Balban's merchant for a couple of episodes in the second half of the show. Nevertheless, he is the least developed of the group, at least as far as continuous stories go. His development is really just the learning experiences he encounters over the course of the series.
ユウタ、祭りに出るんならお前も戦士の誓い覚えろよ。
戦士の誓い。
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Be lantern's light.
While there is nothing inherently wrong with that, it doesn't do him any favors compared to the other Rangers. Lastly, he is by far the most brutal member of the team. I mean, just look at what he does to this poor, innocent grunt. Not cool, man. Not cool.
銀河マンより先に手をつけなきゃならねえ問題ができた。
Our final and youngest member of the core team is Saya. Saya looks to her partners as older brothers as they all helped take care of her when she was a child. She is also in love with Hyuga, which adds to the tragedy of his apparent death and blossoms further after he returns later on. Although she does get jealous over nothing occasionally.
でもヒューガがあの子を見た時の目、あんな目今まで見たことなかっただろ。
そう言われると。
何言ってるのよ。そんなはずないじゃない。ヒューガは銀河の森で一番の戦士なんだよ。きっと何か考えがあるんだよ。
One of her strong points is that she doesn't try to let personal feelings overcome her sense of justice, nor will she allow injuries to stop her either. There are a couple of points throughout the show where her leg gets injured, and she will just suffer through the pain to save the day.
ちょっと今日一日くらいはじっとしてなきゃ。どんな時でもバルバンと戦う。それが戦士なんです。
To be honest, I'm not a fan of the suits. I don't know. The black zigzags just don't sit well with me. I also feel there is too much white on the suits and not enough of their individual color. The helmets are cool though. One thing that is interesting here is that no one really has their own unique weapon. Yes, they have a weapon called a mechanical blade kiba that allows them to have their own individual attack, but the weapon itself is the same base form. They also have their own bazookas for more powerful attacks. Towards the end of the first half of the show, the Rangers acquire a power-up form from this mystical energy called the Lights of Ginga. I actually do like the way the suits look with the additional features on it, despite it not really adding too much to them. Nevertheless, there is a downside to the Lights of Ginga, as they can pretty much turn into anything the plot requires. As is the case with them being used to create Ryoma, his very own, very underutilized motorcycle.
Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider, Rider, Rider.
As always, our heroes are assisted by several individuals. We have Yuta and his father, who help the team understand the modern world, at least in some aspects. They also help the team acquire a home at the Silver Star Equestrian Club. Equestrian Club? What is this, My Little Pony? From their forest is an acorn boy named Boku. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't care for him very much. But he is voiced by Miyuki Sanai, who is Botan Yu Yu Hakusho, so that's cool. Their mentor is a living tree named Moku.
Pocahontas, that tree is talking to me.
The most important compatriot to the team, however, is a black knight named Bull Black. I do need to mention this part because unfortunately there are going to be some minor spoilers in this section that I just can't avoid because it's part of Bull Black's character, and it would be kind of ruining the whole point of doing a review if I avoided it. So just know that there's going to be some really tiny minor spoilers. If you really want to go into the show completely blind, just skip this section, go right into the villains. Initially, Bull Black appears to be a sentient being, possibly a robot in the same manner as Ninja Man was in Megaranger. We're not sure exactly, as it is never stated. What we do know is that he followed Balban to Earth on a quest for vengeance after they ravaged his world and killed his younger brother.
You dirty rat! You killed my brother!
Eventually, Bull Black returns Hyuga to the team and gives him his powers, allowing Hyuga to transform into a Sixth Ranger-esque character.
By the power of Grayskull!
Hyuga starts the show out as a full-time member until an event occurs later on, which puts him on his own path, and he only shows up every now and then, as most Six Rangers did at the time. Everything revolving around Bull Black gives the show a nice change of pace, adding a new flavor to the formulaic story. I love his design, and the shotgun that turns into a sword is pretty badass too. He also comes with his own theme music to showcase this. Oh yeah, and Hyuga loves puns. Like, he will laugh at anything.
まさに奇跡の復活。そしてこれはとんかつ。素晴らしい。とんかつで復活だって。黒騎士だけに苦労する。なんちゃって。
See, at least my puns don't punish you like his do. The villains. Space pirates. How can you not love that? What makes it even cooler is that each of these pirates brings their own individual diverse style and personality to their own arcs. It's pretty awesome. Their main goal is to awaken their ship, a giant dinosaur named Ditanix. Hold on. First we had a dinosaur tank, and now we've got a dinosaur pirate ship? God damn, Japan is awesome. The downside to this is that the show ends up being repetitious as they spend more than 3/4 of it trying to awaken this beast. Thankfully, the field commanders all have enough personality to keep the show entertaining, as do their individual minions that act as the monsters of the week. Mostly. The first and weakest commander is the biker-like Sambash. There isn't too much of his characters, he doesn't have that diverse of a personality, and his plots are pretty much just trying to collect something that will awaken Titanics. Fortunately, voice actor Nobuyuki Hiyama does a good job with his delivery as the character, which shouldn't come to any surprise given that the man has voiced Hiei in Yu Yu Hakusho, Kamikaze in Ranger, Shiro Amada in Gundam 08th MS Team, and Mr. 3 in One Piece.
てめえ聖獣剣が惜しくなって偽物とすり替えたんじゃねえだろうな。そんなことするわけがないっしょ。信用できるか。そんなか見せろ。
As with Sambash himself, his gang are a bunch of insect bikers and they just aren't all that interesting. I don't exactly know why. They just kind of bug me. My favorite of his group is Mondigar, who is a mantis with a bow tie.
Bow ties are cool.
立派な剣を持ってるじゃねえか。くらえ高速魔人剣。
On the other hand, my least favorite is the pillbug Domar.
だいたい食い物を粗末にするな。絶望的にまずい。そんなもんじゃマジ歌いたニクスは目覚めんぞ。
Toji also has some good taste in music. While thinking about it, all the monsters grow by drinking an alcoholic beverage known as Balbon extract. And I hope you like the way they grow because you're going to be seeing it in pretty much every episode. However, what makes it even worse is you get to have the narrator stated in every episode.
バルバエキスを飲むことで巨大化する。だがそれは自らの命を縮めるまさに最後の手段でもあるのだ。バルバンの魔人はバルバエキスを飲むことで巨大化する。だがそれは自らの命をも縮めるまさに最後の手段なのだ。バルバンの魔人はバルバエキスを飲むことで巨大化する。だがそれは自らの命をも縮めるまさに最後の手段なのだ。
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
バルバンの魔人はバルバエ
Get on with it!
素晴らしいとんかつ復活だって
Budo is the second commander and my favorite of the group. He is voiced by Kazuo Hayashi, who is Biohunter Silva in Bioman, Tsusupaman in Ranger, and Chloe Reed in Cardcaptor Sakura. Unlike Sambash, Budo has a lot of personality, which is a given as he is a samurai who seems kind of laid back.
銀河の光の手がかりを持ってる割には時間食ってるじゃねえか。
この武道をお疑いとは情けのうござる。
Of course, if you piss him off, he will not hesitate to murder you. At the end of Sambash's arc, the existence of the Lights of Ginga are revealed, so it is Budo's job to find them in order to awaken Titanics. He and his mob resemble sea creatures with samurai, shoguns, and spoony bards. I have to say that I really like pretty much every minion he has. My favorite is a toss-up between Hyodogasa and Kyumuiman. Hyodogasa is just a badass jellyfish-looking shogun that is a skilled swordsman, providing probably the best fight in the entire show. Kyumuiman is just hilarious. His sea urchin-looking persona makes him look threatening, yet this happens.
浜の政子は尽きるとも世に結びとの種は尽きまじ。ああたただ左飛ばし
Next up is the sorceress Ilias. Clearly her design is based on ancient Egypt and her tribe follows suit. They are all based on mythological creatures like this mummy. My favorite member of her group is her brother Deathface, who puts masks on people that makes them feel sadness. I wonder what happens if you would put one of those masks on somebody like Usopp.
Why don't my attacks do anything to you?
I just naturally have a negative personality!
Wakana Yamazaki voices this priestess, who is most notable as being Ayane in the Dead or Alive video game series and Ron Mori in Detective Conan.
私が死ぬと思ってるならお会いに行くよ。宇宙で最強の魔術を極めたこの私は、たとえ死んでも何度でも復活できるわ。
Since the Rangers have acquired the lights of Ginga once she enters the fray, she professes that using magic and gathering the souls of people will awaken Titanics.
81人の乙女の若さをこの壺に集めて金色の飛躍を作るのよ。それを飲ませれば魔獣ダイタニクスは必ずや目覚める。
It is also worth noting that she is the niece to Balban's scribe Bucrates. This man is a barrel of laughs. Voiced by the great Shufurin, who was the Mole Man in Escaflowne and most recently Jimbal Raw in Gundam The Origin, along with many other roles that includes the God Hand member Ubik in Berserk. Last of the four field commanders is the spiky robot Batobas. His army is a combination of machinery, weapons, and medieval knights. My favorite is a toss-up between a tank named Dongs and one named Chainsaws. It helps that Chainsaws makes me think back to my favorite Silverhawks minion, Buzzsaw. As for my least favorite, I'd say it goes to Magdas. Takashi Watabe voices Batobas, who was Emperor Antonin Dynaman and voiced the Creation King in Kamen Rider Black. Unlike the other commanders, Batobas is assisted in his endeavors by an old friend, a merchant by the name of Prince Biznella. Biznella is introduced as if he were some kind of badass machine, only to change gears and reveal that he is nothing more than a coward. It was kind of jarring. Thankfully, Kanato Shizawa's voice work is stellar.
巨大化する前に死んでしまう可能性があります。そこでエキスの効き目を弱めるこの弾を同時に撃ち込みます。
You may know him as the voice of D in the original Vampire Hunter D OVA, Ray Fox in Metal Gear Solid, Zongi in Escaflowne, Prince Demande in Sailor Moon R, and several nobodies in Mobile Suit Gundam. Well, Makwave is not exactly a nobody character. He's just not that well known, especially since he's barely in the movie trilogy. The navigator of Balban is a woman named Shalinda.
よせ命令は船長が下すよせ命令は船長が下す
She isn't the most developed character, but she does have a really good rivalry with Hayate. Basically, she confronts Hayate at one point, but he blatantly blows her off to fight the monster of the week, which angers her. As such, she feels she has a vendetta with Hayate because he doesn't fear her the way everyone else in the universe has. Basically, he doesn't give her any attention. Either way, it does lead to some pretty well choreographed battles. I do wish they had done more with her though. Finally, the leader of the pirates is Captain Zahab. Not much is revealed about this guy, which is okay as he doesn't appear to be someone you would want to come across in your travels. He looks like a ship grew appendages and became an immortal monster out to pillage everything around him. There is a bit more to his character. The same goes for Bucrates, but that would go into some spoiler material, and I've already had to do enough of that. You may recognize his voice as belonging to Daima Owen Kakuranger, and you would be right as Hidekatsu Shibata voices him.
より先に手をつけなきゃならねえ問題ができた。俺たちの封印が解けたってのに、魔獣ダイタニクスの封印が解けねえ。
The grunts are known as Yartots. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about the name as it's kind of dumb, but it could have been a lot worse.
Hi, you swabbies! Swabbies, are you ready for battle? Hooray! Yeah!
They have weirdly shaped mustaches, orange skin, and look like something you would see in Wind Waker. Not my favorite grunts of the franchise, although I am curious as to how this can occur. How can they bite their own heads off? They don't even have any mouths. The mecha. One of the most intriguing aspects about Gingaman's mecha is that they are organic creatures known as star beasts that turn into mechs as a power-up. The initial 5 are a lion, a cat, a falcon, a gorilla, and a wolf. The ability to turn into machines allows them to combine into Gingai-O. Gingai-O's design is kind of cool, but he really doesn't do much as far as fights are concerned. A lot of the time it seems like he just transforms just to throw his finishing attack, in a way harkening back to the mecha battles of the 80s. Luckily, not every episode may have a mech battle, so you rarely get tired of seeing it on screen. I do also like how they don't always use the sword as their finishing move, as sometimes the falcon becomes a crossbow to finish off the monster. Just like with the Rangers, the Lights of Ginga give Gingai-O a powered up form. The second mech to be introduced is Go Taurus. What really makes Go Taurus unique is that he shoots Bull Black with a ray that turns him big, and the duo combine to form Bull Taurus. It's a pretty cool concept that feels unique to this show as it hasn't been used too often since. Bold Black can also ride on Go Taurus when they aren't combined. The last 3 mechs are brought to Earth by Prince Biznella after learning of Balban's resurgence. This trio were originally star beasts he chopped up into pieces and turned into mecha.
私はそんなSeijuuを捕らえ、改造し、兵器に変えたのです。もちろん、バルバンに高く売りつけるためにね。
Thus, Giga Phoenix is a group of air machines that combine together. Why is the mech trying to airwalk? Wow, Gigarayas is a bunch of land machines. Gigabytus acts as the transport for this duo. It is an insanely dark concept. He chopped them up and turned them into machines. Yet, it works so well. It also helps the Rangers alternate between these two throughout several of the episodes, so they don't overstay their welcome. Although, why is Giga Phoenix blue? Shouldn't he be red while Rhinos is the blue one? The effects and music. Sadly, Gingaman has some of the weakest fight choreography compared to the few series that came right before it, but goddamn does the music more than make up for it. Yeah, compared to the fights we have had for the last several series, especially between the Megarangers and Neji Rangers, the choreography just doesn't seem up to par. It also doesn't help that there really isn't anything special about the camera work either. Granted, you do still get some outstanding fights, especially when it deals with Budo and his minions. Otherwise, a lot of the fights feel more like they are explosions and shooting rather than hand-to-hand combat. Also, this show uses CGI for some of its mech scenes, which is pretty ugly looking. On the positive side, they don't overdo the CGI as it is relegated to a handful of scenes outside of the transformation sequence, so it doesn't detract from the show. Adding to that, what is up with this major error right here? You think that somebody would have thought about this from a continuity perspective, but hey, who doesn't love sunset fights? Or snow battles, you know you love snow battles. Anime composer Toshihiko Sahashi helms the music to the show, which as I have already said is outstanding. It's not enough that the battle music is energetic, but each of the field commanders has their own theme. My favorite naturally ended up being Budo's. Ilias is no slouch either though. It also helps that one of her minions has this theme. However, I am disappointed in Bato Boss's music, as his theme is initially introduced as being this, only for it to end up like this. It's not bad, just vastly inferior to the industrial sound he had in the beginning. The opening theme sung by Kisami Ryo is a good intro. Nowhere near the best opening theme, yet nowhere near the worst. On the other hand, Deguchi Masao's ending theme, Hadashi no Kokoro De, puts me to sleep. The episodes. I'm not gonna lie, Gingaman is a slow burn series, especially in the beginning where Kobayashi clearly didn't have any idea what direction she wanted to take the show in. Once you get past the Sambash arc though, the series starts to rev up, although it is not without its faults. Watching the villains plot over awakening Titanics can get very repetitive over time.
Too bad it's Sunday, those buildings would have been filled up tomorrow.
Thankfully, the well-written characters, the music, and the good balance between comedy and drama are there to keep you engaged, distracting you from the overall plot. With that said, aside from the clip show, there isn't a single episode I can say I downright hate it, yet there are a few episodes I felt a little underwhelmed by. Although the clip show does provide some pretty cool artwork for the characters. My least favorite being the Heart's Massage. Saya gets injured for like the 100th time, and the rest of the cast ends up getting turned fat by a monster that is trying to hunt down a masseuse. The fat suits are just downright awful, and Saya getting injured is boring at this point. Granted, it's not a total waste, since Saya being turned into the 50-foot woman is funny. Yet, the whole episode is just so freaking stupid. stupid. Oh, and I guess Gingat is a masseuse? What? Alternatively, my favorite episode is the one-man battle. This features a kick-ass night battle with the Rangers battling Hodagosa. The other Rangers end up having to chill out, leaving Ryoma to battle both Black and Hirogosa on his own. Not only is this episode very energetic and the best Ryoma episode, but it also has what is hands down the best fight of the entire show.
My little pony, what is friendship all about?
They're fighting on freaking horses. A Sentai show with a horseback battle. How cool is that? The DVD. Shout Factory has provided us with another mostly solid DVD release. I say mostly solid because it isn't without its faults. The video is identical to the crappy video found on Toei's DVD, however the subtitles are a bit strange as they translate Seijuu Sentai to Star Beast Squadron in the show, but Galactic Warriors in the opening song.
Seijuu Sentai Gingaman! Seijuu Sentai Gingaman!
Why they even translate the team name I do not know, as I liked it when they were leaving it untranslated for Die through Mega. There are a few grammatical errors, with the missing a few times from the start of sentences. However, my biggest point of frustration comes from the subtitle timing on the last disc. No, it is nowhere near as bad as it was in those few Car Ranger episodes, yet the timing is all over the place. Sometimes the subs will be a quarter to half a second ahead of the dialogue, while at other moments it will be the same length of time after it. The worst moment for the subtitle timing comes from a scene like this.
逃げろ、黒騎士。お前にはどうしてもゼイハブを倒してもらわねば。
喋っている暇があったら逃げる準備をしろ。
いいから行け。
What the hell, Shout Factory? Do you not quality check every single episode? How could you miss something like this? Other than that, the DVD set is solid. But come on, guys. For future releases, you gotta check every episode. And you gotta go through every scene of every episode. You can't just look at one scene and figure it's good and then move to the next. Gingaman versus Megaranger. At this point, we know the drill regarding the movies. However, what's interesting about the Gingaman vs. Megaranger movie is it takes place after both their series instead of during Gingaman. This makes it stand out among the other Versus movies as it kicks off with Zayhab's brother, Gregory, coming to Earth with his own dinosaur castle, wanting to resurrect Balban. With him is the last surviving android of Dr. Heinler, Hizamina, basically Shibalina with a color swap. Toei was getting their inner Mortal Kombat on, weren't they? He kills Giga Phoenix and Giga Rhinus, resurrects Balban, and of course Hizamina betrays him wanting to resurrect Nejire.
That was pointless.
These events lead to the Mega Rangers teaming up with Gingaman to battle the pirate horde. It's kind of an interesting movie. However, everyone in Balban seems to have suddenly gotten weaker as they are all defeated with ease. I also wish they had used this opportunity to play each commander's theme music one last time. Alas, that did not happen. While it does fall shy of the greatness that encompassed several of the series before it, Gingaman is still one solid piece of entertainment. Therefore, I give Gingaman a 4 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. The series is full of excellent characters, insanely superb music, and it does try so many new things in its execution that it warrants a look. I love the show despite its faults, although I am not afraid to admit this is not a Sentai for everyone. Nevertheless, you should definitely give the show a chance and see if you enjoy it. You might be pleasantly surprised. Until next time, bye.